This Gold Crypto Investing, this April the 12th nightly 2025 daily update. We ask you to bell notification, comment down below, like the channel, share it. Most importantly, as you are part of the movement that we're building of truth, trust, education, and information back into the market. And we dubbed this weekend, we had weekend pump advisory and weekend pump warning due to the overall markets pumping, and Bitcoin was sitting at a 73,899 major support level, and that was an area that we thought we could bounce. And you can see we did not have the bearish cross yet because of the recent pump. I believe it's just delaying it, not denying it. But this pump advisory that we talked about leading up into the weekend, if we go into the 3 hour time frame, we showed you how this was a classic double bottom bounce off of a major support level, the 73,000. And in our weekend advisory, we said we had the double bottom there for major support level for the short term at 73,000. And then we had the highlighted box in red up here as our major upper resistance, which was between the 200-day moving average in the daily and that horizontal blue 90,000 just above the 100-day moving average, right? That was your area of major resistance that we would watch this weekend for some kind of potential rejection, right? And it's still going according to plan. But what this is doing is it's allowed some of these altcoins to really start to pump, and you can see Bitcoin dominance it wasn't a big dump down, but it's a noticeable and a change where we went from 63.79 dominance all the way to a wick low of 63.62. And that's been enough along with the bullish sentiment and some of the bear market, some of the lows that this was at, some of these altcoins, they were down big, and like Ethereum was down huge. And when we were talking about the Jabroni Killer member, that's why you become members of Jabroni Killer's first mover advantage. He was asking how you could possibly get down to $400, which we don't really think it's likely, but that was in the green scenario where you get supported at the $1,012, come back up and get rejected by overhead moving averages in the monthly time frame. But that's what we were looking at for him the other day. But Ethereum right now, it's trying to get some support on where it's at in the daily. And what you would look at right now with Ethereum is we'll bring this price in to the current time frame. Get over here, Ethereum price. You would look at it to get rejected somewhere. There's going to be major overhead resistance at this 1,812, right? At the top part of this blue box, you can see how it held support beautifully when it tried to hold it and then it fell through. This week on the pump advisory, that's where I'd be looking at for your first rejection point, would be the top part of this blue trading zone. If we go look at XLM, you can see it's had a nice little return from its most recent low, which we told you when it broke this 25.5 cents. We had it coming to 18 cents, followed by a pretty decent return rally. And it looks like it's just doing that a little bit north of there. We got down to 20 cents on the dot. So about a cent and a quarter away from the target that we had. And our pump advisory for the weekend, we have this 25.5 cents as your major resistance zone, right? And that's what we're going to look to see if we come back up to it. Do we just get rejected by it? Or do we get over top of it and try to maybe trade up towards that 26, 27, 28 cents? So the pump advisory for XLM, we're looking at it at the 25.5 cents. The XRP, you can see actually on our pump advisory, we were targeting this neckline. Would it just get rejected like it initially did here on this head and shoulders neckline? Or was it building right here when we talked about Friday? Was this building to try to maybe get above it and try to hold this and maybe sneak all the way up to potential the 100-day moving average in the daily time frame, which is sitting there at about $2.24. We're gonna have to see what that does now the next 12 hours, 24 hours. It's gonna have to come back test this neckline at some point, whether it sneaks up a little bit more or does it now. It's gonna have to back test this neckline. And I feel over this course of the weekend, I think it's gonna end up slipping below it again. But that's gonna be your next critical step here. Kind of get some support and try to hold it and maybe pump a little bit higher, as our top end pump advisory for the weekend was right up here, the 236 to the 223, if it could get that high. So we'll pay attention for that with the XRP, because we do know with the first mover advantage, we're in this head and shoulders topping out reversal pattern, and it's still trading out the right shoulder. And it's the first time we've attempted to break and confirm below the neckline, sitting there at $2.09, or that purple horizontal line. If you look at the volume with the most recent pump, Nothing to be overly impressed about. It's very, very minuscule, and it's declining by day as the price is moving up, leading me to believe with this newly confirmed, is that confirmed? No, it's tied on it right now. It's going to be a confirmed bear's cross. This will eventually sell back off. Stay on top of the truth, the trust, the education, and information, and you can become part of this growing movement. You can become part of the first mover advantage by becoming members of Jabroni Killers. It's as easy and as simple as going to my homepage, clicking on the video, and hitting that join button. $3.99 a month to build the growing army to 10,000 subscribers. We just soared past 2,000. The views, the likes, the comments, the subscriptions, the joins, the Jabroni Killers, the best value and education, 13 cents a day. $48 for the whole year to support the #1 cryptocurrency influencer and insider that's bringing back truth, trust, education, and information. Most importantly, hit that join button and get that first mover advantage. Don't be fleeced, don't be heisted, and don't be manipulated here, as I believe this head and shoulders that we diagnosed, sniffed out, and detected for you way out ahead of the rest of the market. Back here is when we drew this in yellow, and it's been on here ever since early to mid January. And at every video you watch for the last over 90 days, this has been on there. Our technical target is $1.29. We put that weekend pump advisory and weekend pump warning because we knew there would be some pumping going on, and we just wanted you all to understand what was going on. Yes, AMP, I still do believe at some point this would have been a perfect weekend for it with the rest of these altcoins that are down 80% that have pumped 2x from their lows that we'll show you some of them here. I still think at some point we're going to have a relief rally. This coin from wick high in December to wick low is down 79.73%. So there's got to be some kind of relief rally soon. It's a falling channel. It's eventually going to break. H bar, we broke out of this mountain double topping reversal pattern, came down to the 15 cents. We think we're coming to 9 cents. But we talked about when it was going to break below it, it could take two tracks, and one would be a rejection up here at this 15.5 cents. And this is what we talked about, the bullish advisory or the more bullish track for the weekend when it took it in green. Well, it's obvious that it took the green track from the bullish watch and advisory, and it looks like the top end potential would be the 200-day moving average or the 50-day moving average. Come here. And I believe that's where they're sitting in the daily time frame. We got to update him a little bit. Come here, the program director's talking. Come here. He always talks when we make videos. Come here. And you can see we're just above having a golden bears cross, and that would be about where the top end potential is for the weekend pump. So that's an area to 19.5 cents. If it sneaks up there, does it get harshly rejected? You can see the volume as the price is going up is declining, which is to note, which is often a case that there's not going to be enough force or fortitude to sustain the move. So that's something that we'll pay attention to as we go on the Sunday. And then if it does break down around that 19 cents, when it comes back to the 15 cent level of this blue line, can it hold it? If it can't, you have a much bigger drop. But I do believe still we're going to end up down here at this 0.09. The XDC, the same thing. Let's go into the daily time frame. We had that head and shoulders topping reversal pattern with our technical target of 0.0421. We slipped the neckline, and now we're coming back and actually coming up to retest it. And we have had the bears cross. You can see we're above the 50-day in the daily now. We're sitting right at or just below now the 100-day moving average in green or in blue right there, where it's consolidating. The volume's not overly impressive, I do believe, but XDC is a coin that moves very fast up and down. So could it pump higher? Yes, but I think there's going because you can see the volume is slowly increasing, but it's still very, very minuscule compared to what was going on back here when we were pumping. I think this is going to get rejected by these overhead moving averages, and I think it's going to trade back down. But you have to watch to see if it can stay on top of this 50 in the daily. If it can, it's got to pump and get above the 100. If not, when it comes back down, can it hold this 200-day moving average in the daily? Because if it gets below that, you know you're very bearish in the short term. If it can hold it as support to the upside, it can be short-term bullish, right? So that's a major area that we're watching. But I still do believe as this most recent wave from the tariff pause wears out, that a lot of these coins that have pumped are going to start giving away some of these gains. DGB is the same thing. It's been pumping in the same range the last couple of weeks. You can see the moving averages. We've already had the golden bears cross. And now because the coin is pumping a little bit, after it hit almost its technical target on the wick, I still believe a body candle is going to come down there of this head and shoulders topping out reversal pattern. If we look at the 2 hour time frame, you can see you got to hold above the moving averages, and there they are, the blue, the green, and the red right there. These are the daily time frame moving averages. If you want to stay short term bullish like it's been doing, it's been holding support on the shorter term moving averages here, and then the 200-day as a last resort right there, or the 50-day down there that it's been holding as support. If you can keep above that, you can keep moving up. But if you notice the volume in this sideways consolidation has been trending down, that's usually not the most bullish thing, but we're going to have to pay attention to see what happens. Or is this just going to repeat the pattern of up, down, up now, and then the next move is coming back down to this major underneath support? But in order to do that, you got to break below the 50-day moving average in the daily time frame, and that's something that we're going to be watching out for. We'll make another video later. Come here. We've rolled through. I'm tired. I was working the side job for a few hours today. Just got home. We'll end out with the LCX. Is the LCX the one that just had a massive pump? No, it's not. LCX is coming off a massive pump. And LCX, what we're watching for here is, can it get back above this 14 cents? It's on this is good that we picked this coin. It's on the major resistance point right now. See that? If it can break above this major resistance point and hold it, you could try to pump all the way up into these moving averages. Where are they at in the daily time frame? Let's just get rid of this on LCX on this weekend pump. If you can get above that, let's get rid of that. The overhead moving averages, you can see the 50 is sitting right there at about 16 cents. We've had the golden bearish cross and the complete reversal on here, so that means the price has been bearish for a while. If we can get back above this 14 cents, this thing is down from its high a lot. You could see like an XCN type of pump here. We're down from the top. Nah, it's only down 72%. XCN was down more. But if you can break above this 14 cents, you could have a weekend pump where you pumped up something like this to where you got the 22 cents. Am I calling for that? No, but that's something that I could see happen. But you first would have to get on top of this 14 cents and hold it as support, and then fight through these overhead moving averages in the daily that are going to be heavy sell pressure, kind of like what happened on the way down so far. But that's what I'm looking at right now. We'll make another video here before this evening's over. Peace and love. The Rock Side Route J.